Hey, what's up guys? Back with another video here. This is going to be some some CD pulls that I pull out of storage. So, storage digs. So I'm going to be staying here where I am for a while. I finally found out. So, start bringing more of my music back in from storage, although we have a limited amount of space right now. So, I'll get as much as I can of it. First up, I want to say a big thank you to Jason vs. Bosco. That's his channel name on YouTube. Sending me this Godfather Don Properties of Steel, the Hydra Records singles. Really dope CD. It has all of his vinyl singles. Yeah, and Hydra Records on here. Really great CD. I recommend for everyone to check this out if you haven't yet. So thank you, Jason, once again. Your CD is on the way. I know we've talked about that, so I really do appreciate you sending me that. Thank you. So let's get into the storage stuff. First up, we got some Gangsta Stuff from the Funked Addict crew from 1995. I'm not really a huge gangsta type fan, but when it comes to stuff like this and Ice-T, I don't mind it so much. This, I guess, not really known as much. I think this was their only album, if I remember correctly, although this was done pretty well. Some of the beats I could do without, but pretty good overall. Next up, we got Rahim, or Rahim the Dream, as he used to be known. I think that's what he goes by now as well. He's a rapper, producer from Atlanta. If you don't know who he is, he was in like the mid to late 80s and early 90s. He was doing that electro bass style sound, and that's what most of his career consisted of, that bass style hip hop music, which I'm not really a huge fan of, but I did pick up a few of his albums, including this one, which I didn't care for as much as his earlier stuff. Like if you could find any of his 80 singles, or his like 90, 91, his first two albums, I recommend checking those out before this one. This one is called Tight to Death, the last album, although it wasn't his last album, so I don't know why I named it that. Maybe he thought it was going to be when he made it. But yeah, that's Rahim, Tight to Death. Not great. Wouldn't recommend it if you want to check them out. Next up are my favorite producers and DJs. DJ Shadow, The Private Press from 2002. A great album right here. My favorite DJ Shadow album after Introducing. So my second favorite, I should say. It's got tracks on here like Walkie Talkie, Mash Up on the Motorway. Yep, Mashed on the Motorway is this one. Blend the Motorway, 6 Days. Right Thing, Goddamn Motherfucking Son of a Bitch is on here. You Can't Go Home Again. Excellent album. To show you guys how big of a fan I was when I was looking through this, looking through the booklet and the CD, I actually clipped out an article of DJ Shadow when this album came out. Before I actually got the album, I clipped out this article. I don't remember what magazine it was from, but I thought it was a pretty cool little souvenir to have, so I'll leave it in there. Yeah, if you don't know who DJ Shadow is by some reason, then I recommend checking out this album or Introducing. I think are both albums to great starter albums if you want to get into his music. Next up, we got a Beastie Boys album, To the Five Boroughs, or The Five Boroughs, To the Five Boroughs. This is probably my least favorite Beastie Boys album, or one of my least favorite. It might be my least favorite. This is the album that had the track, An Open Letter to New York City, Open Letter to NYC, 3 the Hard Way, Right Now, check it out. Yeah, I didn't really care for this album as much. This is when they were really on that anti-piracy thing. They were really heavy into that, so it comes with a slip cover and folds open, but I'm not going to bother. Not great, in my opinion. Not their best work. Next up, we got an Ill Bill and Necro collabo, Street Villains Volume 1. There's a Volume 2 as well, which I have somewhere. I gotta find it. What to say about this? Obviously, it's not a professionally done CD. It's just a bootleg. Although, I think, I don't remember if Necro actually was selling this on his website. I don't think he was. I got sent a Necro show, if I remember correctly. Yeah, a bunch of freestyles and stuff on here. That's how I ended up coming by this in Volume 2 as well. So, but dope stuff. I do recommend checking it out if you haven't heard it, if you can find it, that is. Next up, Ice-T Original Gangsta, or OG, Ice-T's third album, I believe. I think it was his third album from 1991, I want to say. Is there a year in here? Yep, 1991. Like I said, I'm not a huge West Coast kind of gangster fan, but I did enjoy Ice-T. I did like his stuff. And this was pretty good. This was the album that had Body Count on it. The track Body Count, Mind Over Matter was a really good track. I like that one. Just a bunch of good tracks on here. A lot of production by DJ Aladdin. A couple tracks by Africa Islam, as well as Ice-T himself. So, pretty good album from Ice-T. They're not his best one. I think I prefer his previous three, although this one was decent. Another West Coast artist, Ant Banks, Do or Die, from 1995. Ant Banks, if you don't know who he is, he's a producer and rapper, mostly known for producing. I would say he's worked with people like Mos Def. He had his own crew for a while there. Worked with a bunch of West Coast artists, Rappin' Forte, and just a lot of West Coast artists. MC Ren, I know he's produced with. Let's say about Ant Banks. This is his third album, I believe. I would definitely recommend checking out his two albums before this if you want to get into him. Although this was a pretty good album, I thought too. I thought it was pretty decent, but I did prefer his first two. So that's it for that. Next up, classic, which I'm just going to fly by. Basically, Dr. Dre, The Chronic. Everyone knows this album. I'm not going to say anything about it other than The Chronic. Next up, Down South. If you don't know who Down South is, they are a trio, which consists of Sean J. Period, Mayor the DJ, and Soda Pop. I believe the only one from this group to go on to do anything you know, noteworthy after this was Sean J. Period, who is obviously a producer these days and still pretty damn dope. Gold Stamp Promo, as you can see. I know I showed the vinyl of this a while back. Comes on a white vinyl, but this is the CD version. Definitely recommend checking that out if you don't know who they are. Next up, Arrested Development. I always fuck up the name of this. 3 years, 5 months, and 2 days in the life of. This is the album with Tennessee. Is this the album with Tennessee on it? Yep, this is the album with Tennessee on it. Huge single for them. Great album. Mr. Wendell, another classic track. Arrested Development. Well, most people know Arrested Development, I'm pretty sure, so I'm not going to spend too much time on that one. Only a couple left here. We got Joe Budden's first album, I believe. I think it's a self-titled Joe Budden's from 2003. I'm not a huge Joe Budden fan. I never really was. I never really got the appeal of him. Everyone that keeps saying his early stuff is his best work, you guys are fucking crazy. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. This CD sucks. I'm sorry to say. Call me a hater, call me whatever you want, but this is just not good. I don't know. His stuff with Slaughterhouse is decent, and I don't know, his other albums after this I just don't care for. I just don't really think he's that good of a rapper. I don't see where everyone's saying he's so good. Please tell me what albums to check out from him other than this and his Slaughterhouse work. I know he's had a couple of his like series. I forget what it's called, but he's got like volumes like 1, 2, and 3, and the album's name is the same. I don't know. Just not for me, I guess. And lastly here we got a couple classics, a couple from Tribe Called Quest, Beats, Rhymes, and Life from '96. Once again, everyone knows this, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. Or if you don't know it, you should. Definitely check it out if you don't know it. And A Love Movement, their last good album, in my opinion, from '98. Well, their last album, I guess, but I was going to say their last good album because it was their last album, but I believe they did maybe one thing after this that wasn't released, but I remember hearing it somewhere and it wasn't great. So, yeah, Love Movement. Sorry, just looking at the track list on here, seeing if... No, the track's not on here. So yeah, I did hear one track that I guess came out after this album came out, and I forget where I heard it. I heard it on like a mixtape somewhere. I was working in a studio with some producer. I was basically learning how to mix and stuff like that at the time. I was going to school for mixing, and he said he had some unreleased track from a Tribe Called Quest. I'm like, yeah, right, get the fuck out of here. So he played it for me, and it was something I've never heard before. It was really cool. He's like, yeah, this is new. This is unreleased stuff. I'm like, how new? And this was like back in the like earlier 2000s. So I don't know, man. I don't know what happened to that. It was just some random dude too. It wasn't like some fucking, you know, some really well-known producer. I don't know. I think it was maybe just some freestyle track he was fucking with me. That's what I think happened. But it was something I've never heard before, so I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's it for this storage polls, I guess. I'll try to do these as often as I can. Like I said, I still got my update video coming relatively soon, probably the end of this month, so mostly vinyl in that one. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, Jason, for hooking me up with that CD. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.